If you've ever admired Aretha Franklin, what you're about to hear might change everything. Because the truth is, behind the voice that moved millions was a woman fighting silent battles every day. Her story is not just about music. It's about pain, betrayal, and strength. Aretha Franklin's journey was far from perfect. Many remember her for her heavenly voice, but few know about the struggles that nearly broke her. Especially the heartbreak caused by the men who were supposed to love her. One of the earliest signs of trouble came during a recording session in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. This was supposed to be a big moment in her career, but instead of celebration, there was chaos. Aretha's husband, Ted White, got into a fight with a musician. He claimed the man was flirting with Aretha. Instead of discussing it like an adult, Ted exploded with rage. This wasn't just a small argument. It turned into a violent, embarrassing scene. Jerry Wexler, her producer, was so disturbed that he told Ted he'd never be welcome again. Aretha was left in the middle, torn between her music and a man who couldn't control his temper. From there, things got worse. Ted became jealous of other musicians. He demanded people be fired, all because he believed they were looking at his wife the wrong way. Aretha tried to stay focused on her work, but behind the scenes, she was walking on eggshells. Ted was not only her husband, but also her manager. That gave him control over both her personal and professional life. When he got angry, everyone around them felt it. There were no secrets. The bruises were there for all to see. People noticed. Industry insiders whispered. But no one helped. She was only 19 when she married him. They had a son, and the outside world thought they were a happy couple. But inside their home, things were violent. Time magazine reported that Ted had roughed her up more than once. This wasn't a rumor. It was public knowledge. The saddest part? No one stepped in. Not friends, not record executives, not even the press that covered her performances. It was as if her fame made her pain invisible. She was left alone to suffer. Even when she showed up to perform with visible signs of abuse, people clapped and cheered. At the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta, just before a show, she and Ted were banned for fighting loudly. Staff had seen the bruises. Still, Aretha snuck into the venue and sang for 2 hours. She poured all her emotions into those songs. No one in the audience knew they were listening to a woman who had cried just hours earlier. The truth was ignored. The public loved her, but they didn't see her. Even in the 2021 biopic Respect, the abuse was barely mentioned. Marlon Wayans, who played Ted, admitted they didn't want to make him look like a monster. But how else could anyone describe a man who beat his wife? After their divorce, Ted kept haunting her life. He made threats, tried to stay involved in her career, and made it hard for her to heal. Even though she had walked away, the emotional wounds were still fresh. Her songs, so full of feeling, came from these hidden injuries. And yet, nobody asked if she was okay. She was valuable to the industry. That was all that mattered to most. From the start, powerful men surrounded her. Some helped her rise. Others used that power against her. Ted was just the one whose cruelty became impossible to hide. Eventually, in 1968, Aretha found the strength to leave him. She had taken enough. Her pain turned into power. Her song, "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman," became more than a hit. It was her anthem of freedom. Finally, she could breathe. But the road wasn't easy. She didn't find peace right away. Years later, she met actor Glenn Turman backstage at a show in Los Angeles. Her son introduced them, saying, "My mother loves you." Glenn was surprised. That meeting was the beginning of something new. They fell in love. Aretha had missed out on a real wedding the first time. So, with Glenn, she planned the celebration she never had. She wanted joy, she wanted beauty, and she made sure it would be memorable. Aretha had 4 children. Glenn had 3 from previous relationships. She welcomed his kids with love. That made him admire her even more. But happiness didn't last forever. In 1979, her father was shot during a home invasion and left in a coma. He remained unconscious until his death in 1984. During those difficult years, Aretha focused on rebuilding her music career. Glenn supported her at first, but the pressure of being married to someone so famous eventually wore him down. He started feeling like he wasn't important. It affected their marriage. The media called it a fairy tale, but behind the scenes, cracks were forming. By 1982, they had separated. In 1984, they divorced. Still, they stayed close. When Aretha was dying, Glenn visited her. She had been sick for a while, but when he walked into her hospital room, something changed. People around her said, "Glenn is here." She opened her eyes. Her spirit, though weak, came alive again. Glenn held her hand. Her body was frail, just skin and bones, but her pulse was strong. She still had fight in her. Even in her final moments, she remained powerful. He remembered her not just as a singer, but as a woman full of humor and love. She told jokes, made people laugh, and could turn any serious moment into something lighter. That was her gift. In 1969, after leaving Ted, Aretha met Ken Cunningham. Her cousin Brenda said Ken was good for her. He helped her quit drinking and gave her life structure. He was serious about music, books, and art. He helped bring calm into her storm. They didn't marry, but they lived together. In March 1970, they had a son named Kakalf. His name came from their initials. Aretha wanted a future with Ken, but was still afraid of marriage. After what Ted had done, she wasn't ready to risk it again. Years later, she met Willie Wilkerson. He was a former firefighter. They started dating in the 1980s and stayed together for 3 decades. In 2012, they got engaged. Aretha announced they might marry on a beach in Miami. But days later, she changed her mind. She said they were moving too fast. Willie was more than a partner. He was her best friend. When he died of COVID-19 in 2020, his daughter said Aretha had been the love of his life. They called each other sweet names. They had a deep bond that lasted even without a wedding ring. There was also Dennis Edwards from The Temptations. Aretha and Dennis kept their relationship secret. They were both at the height of their fame. Years later, they opened up about it. Dennis said he regretted not marrying her. He admitted he was scared. He couldn't handle being with someone that powerful. Aretha said he had missed his chance. He realized too late how special she was. She had moved on. He was left with regret. Aretha also had feelings for Sam Cooke. Rumors suggested they were romantically involved. Sam's brother L.C. said their father didn't want Aretha dating Sam. He preferred L.C. because he thought Sam would break her heart. When Aretha went on tour with both Sam and L.C., she asked L.C. to drive her father's car. Sam didn't like it, but eventually agreed. Reverend Franklin was hoping L.C. would keep his daughter safe. Her road manager later said, "Aretha can do many things, but she doesn't know how to pick a man." That comment summed up a painful truth. She struggled with love, and she also struggled with alcohol. Her personal pain made her music more real, but made her performances harder. Every song was soaked in emotion because it came straight from her soul. Aretha was private. She didn't want people knowing too much about her. That silence led to speculation. Rumors filled the gaps. Some said she was with married men. She never confirmed or denied it. Her silence added to her mystery, but it also made it harder to see the real woman behind the legend. Her personal battles shaped her songs. The heartbreaks, the abuse, the loneliness, all of it turned into music. Despite everything, Aretha created a legacy of strength. She sang through tears. She stood tall when the world tried to push her down. Her voice echoed with pain, power, and pride. And that's what made her unforgettable.